Hello, my name is Linnea and I'm a writing advisor here at North Park. Today I'm going to be discussing how to understand essay prompts. On our website, we also have a handout that breaks down the different steps to understanding essay prompts, and so you can also go ahead and access that document through our website if you would like more assistance. In this video, I'm going to discuss essay prompts and give you some advice for different steps that you can use, different ways you can analyze and understand those prompts, and we'll also take a look at a few examples together and get in some good practice for how to interpret essay prompts. To start things off, we'll take a look at the different ways that essay prompts can vary. So there's 4 ways essay prompts can vary. The first two, discipline and content area, refers to the subject matter of the course and the assignment. So depending on your major or what type of course you're in, whether you're writing for the sciences or for business or for humanities, this is very much so going to impact what you'll be writing about and how you'll be writing about it. In terms of format, that's talking about things like APA, MLA, and Chicago style, how you're going to format your citations, your bibliography, the overall essay, perhaps the tone of your essay as well. And then lastly, for style, that talks about things like what is the essay writing supposed to be like? It could be argumentative, comparative, narrative, analytical, perhaps it's based on research, or perhaps you're being asked to write a summary. All of these things are very different depending on the essay, and so these are some things that you'll want to look for when you are interpreting your prompt. So to start things off, we'll talk about the first 2 steps that you can take. Step 1 is very straightforward, simply referring to find the prompt. And the reason I've included this is because whenever you get an essay assignment, it's usually very long, it can be many pages and have a lot of information, and so the first important step would always be to find where in that document the prompt is written. Where in that document can you find the most important information for what your essay is going to be about? Once you've located that prompt, you'll want to consider step 2, which is about evaluating and annotating that prompt, and I've included here a list of steps that you can take to do so. So for step 2 here, this is where we're going to look at 2 examples from North Park University courses. We'll look at 2 examples together and practice evaluating and annotating that prompt. And these are some things we'll consider. We're going to annotate for keywords. So for me, that means I'm going to be highlighting them, but you can underline or make notes. So making note of those keywords. We're also going to look to identify the essay style. If there's any words you're not sure about, use a dictionary, use Google, look up those definitions. And as we mark those keywords, identify the essay style, the overall goal is to determine the overarching questions. Our goal is to find out what is the main question, the main prompt of this assignment. What is it asking me to do? What is it asking me to write about? So that's what we're going to try and kind of summarize in our own words. And then last but not least, always ask your professor for clarifications if your professor's information in their document is perhaps confusing or unclear. You are always encouraged to ask them, have a discussion with them in order to find those important details that you'll need to know when writing your essay. So now, we're going to focus on step 2 right now, evaluating and annotating that prompt. I'm going to show you 2 examples, and as we look at those examples, I want to encourage you to pause the video, take a look at the examples when I show them on the screen here, and give it a try on your own. Go ahead and feel free to annotate the prompt, figure out the essay style, and determine that overarching question, and then I'll be sharing with you what I saw from it, and we can look at that together. So for our first example, this prompt comes from a Cornerstone course here with Professor Jenny Ingersoll, and you can go ahead and pause the video right now and take a look at this segment. This is a segment of her assignment that I'm going to be sharing with you today. You can go ahead and pause it, read what's on the screen, and see where you can find that important information. And then when you come back, I am now going to start talking through what I was able to see from this document in terms of the prompt. Alright, so here, this is kind of what the document looks like after I would use highlighting to annotate the document. I've highlighted all areas where I think I can see the overarching question, I can see those keywords in that style. So in the purpose, we can see I've highlighted and emphasized the word comparative, and also course readings and research. From this, I already know straight away that for this assignment, the style is going to be comparative, and in terms of course readings and research, that gives me the hint that I will be needing to use sources from class and research from class to support my argument. In the skills section here, I've emphasized strengthening your argument with a counter-argument. That ties into that comparative keyword that I highlighted at the beginning. It shows that we're going to be arguing a certain point, but not only are we arguing one point, we're also going to be comparing it to other arguments, and in doing so, ultimately strengthening our own. So when you see that keyword counter-argument, that's what that's talking about, is not only are we going to be comparing our own argument to others, but we're going to be doing that in a way that turns back around and supports our own argument. And then lastly, down here for task, I think this is where the main prompt truly comes forward. This professor has put it in bold, which emphasizes it in the document. We see what's the most effective thing college students can do to save bugs and the world. So that right there shows us what we're going to be writing about. And as we can see, we already know we're writing a comparative argument, and it looks like our goal, our focusing, overarching question is, what is the most effective thing we can do to save bugs in the world? So that means, as a writer, I'm going to need to look at my sources, look at my research, and pick one thing I believe is most effective, and I need to write my paper on that topic, proving my argument, and proving that with those pieces of evidence and research. You can see when it says, I've highlighted two more things here. We have comparing two potential solutions, as well as supporting one solution more than the other. That simply is referring back to the idea of a comparative argument. So, in conclusion, as we write about what the most effective thing college students can do to save bugs, we need to make sure that we're addressing other arguments in a way that supports our own argument. All right, we will pause here, and now we're going to take a look at another example. This example here comes from a different type of course here at North Park. This comes from a healthcare ethics course. It's a nursing course taught by Dr. Boyd, and he's provided us with this prompt. Once again, you can go ahead and pause the video here. We're going to be looking at these two sections, overview and prompt, and we're going to discuss what details we can gather from these sections will help us understand what the writing assignment is about. All right, so here now, this shows in the overview and the prompt, the main things I've highlighted and that we can discuss. The first thing I've highlighted is research/persuasive. This right away shows us the style of the paper. We know we're going to be persuasive in making an argument. We know we're going to be using research to do so. Then we can look at what the actual writing is asking us to do. So we can see it's supposed to be on a published conflict, and we're supposed to develop a thesis that supports one side. So we need to pick a published conflict in healthcare ethics. So that'll be a court case, an ethical conflict in healthcare ethics. And we're going to be looking at multiple sides. And I want to emphasize here that I have made particular emphasis of the word sides here. It does not say side, it says sides. That's plural. That means we're going to be looking at all sides of the conflict and not just the side we're taking. And that's why the develop a thesis here says that we should support one side. So as we write about this topic, we're going to be developing a thesis that supports one side, but in our essay, we also need to make sure we're talking about the different sides of the conflict as a whole. From the prompt description, we also get two more keywords, describe and analyze. That means we have two tasks in this essay. First, we need to describe our case. Second, we need to analyze it. So the essay will begin by describing the case, and then secondly, we'll turn to analyzing the case. When we analyze that case, we need to ultimately work towards supporting one side of the ethical conflict. And that right there helps us to understand that overarching question. All right, now we're going to jump back over to that PowerPoint. That was two brief examples of how you could start to understand and interpret a prompt, and I hope those steps helped. I just want to point out two final steps you can take as you're looking at that document and starting your assignment. Step 3, I've written identify assignment supporting details. This is simply reminding you to read through that entire document, look for your formatting requirements, your source requirements, due dates, different ways to organize your essay, and page length requirements. These are important things to look out for that are easily forgotten, easily looked over, but they're going to help you a lot with what's required in your essay. And then lastly, future steps, always keep that prompt close by and consistently check back as you write your paper. Make sure that your essay stays on topic and stays on target. And that concludes our video for today. I hope these steps and tips and tricks were helpful to you as you begin to analyze and understand your essay prompt. If you are working on a prompt yourself for one of your classes, or maybe you have another writing concern that you need some assistance with, please feel more than welcome to come visit us in the Writing Center, and us writing advisors can help you with any part of your essay. Thanks for watching.